and he combats this by going straight there every seat.
I mean, if you can beat them, join them, right?
The uncle, of course, a source of positivity in this bleak world we live in.
I missed the quote. What did it say?
You're gonna have a very bad time.
Hey, super early map check there. Looks like we have a vanilla green pennant, red crystal at desert, and I believe Tower of Hera was just a normal crystal.
Regardless of anything else that happens at the state, I think we can all agree on one fact. This is Fear Agent's fault.
Okay.
Getting a hammer start. Probably second best start, I think.
Yeah.
Of all the options.
I would say third best, I guess.
Third? Behind what?
Yeah. You want to have bow or fire rod. Because both of them, especially the bow, is always required.
So is the hammer.
Yeah, but you're super likely to get hammer early game anyways. So.
Oh, is that true?
Most of the times, yeah.
No, I'd say bombs are the best start, followed by the hammer, then the sword, then the bow.
You think bombs is the best start?
Of course,
I mean,
it is.
I guess you skip farming bombs, but it's slow.
Which is the worst part of the escape.
Yeah, but it's slow. You just grab some bombs in a
yeah, but
chest
it's slow for
it's
everybody.
Fine.
And there's a huge variance in how good people are at the bomb strats. So like if you practice them, you can create a difference right away without relying on RNG.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. If you're comfortable with the bomb strats, then having a bomb start is pretty good. Because you're gonna automatically save time compared to a fair amount of the field already.
Wallkick's going out of his way to farm the blue guards too. They do have a different pool of drops to the green guards. So he's putting that hammer to use, a very efficient weapon to kill them.
Mm-hmm. And rather than just
skip this step.
Kind of skipping one part there, man. Would have been interesting if we actually had a small key and we could skip that for a moment. Yeah, I'm... So what's your idea when it comes to farming bombs? Do you just like farm bombs straight away, or like check the first couple of chests on the way down, and if there's no bombs in the chest, just like try and farm on the way up instead?
For me, it really depends on the weapon. Like with the hammer here, I'm probably going to kill pretty much everything that I'm walking next to. Like if I don't have to take more than 2 steps out of my way, I will hammer and kill it. But like with other weapons like the Cane of Samaria, no, I'm going to kill hardly anything just because it takes so long.
Yeah, that's reasonable. What if you have bombs? How much do you farm then?
Well, nothing, because I already have bombs. Keep up, Walter.
Ah, okay. So speaking of bombs, none of our runners have gotten any luck whatsoever farming it yet. There is a possibility. There is no bombs in the drop pool whatsoever. It's a little bit unlikely, but it's definitely possible. But we do have the rats coming up as well, which has even another drop pool. So,
well, I think the rats are the same as the green guards, right? But the ropes are separate. I think so.
Might be.
I'd have to look at the list again.
Yeah, I haven't looked in that quite a while, actually, to be fair.
If I don't get anything after killing like 6 green guards, then the ropes always have something.
I know the green guards with the tiny daggers, they have a different drop pool from the green guards with the swords.
Okay, I'm looking it up now, because I have no idea.
So very even in terms of the runners going through here right now. Walkix is just a tiny bit behind, but otherwise we're pretty much synced up.
Yeah, killing those guards did not pay off for him. All right, I've looked it up. I had it backwards. The green guards and the ropes are the same price pool. The rats are in a separate one.
Ah, okay.
Also, you were mistaken about the green guards being in different price pools.
Really?
They're all together. Yeah, according to this picture that I'm looking at, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if it's on the internet, it has to be true.
It's on the Link to the Past wiki, no less.
So Wallkicks was straggling just a little bit behind, but he got an 8 bomb drop from the ropes, so now all of a sudden he's like in a prime spot here.
Yeah, killing all those extra guards really paid off for him. He was able to advance the prize pack.
Yeah, if he's the only one who gets bombs here, that could be pretty good time save if there's something good here. And I mean, we're seeing all of our runners farm a ton here, so it's quite likely that it's quite likely a lot of other people didn't get bombs as well.
Bottle. Yeah, so it's a time save either way, right? As long as everybody comes back here eventually. It was faster for Wallkicks to do it now rather than later. But to also get something nice like bombos, that can definitely compound that time save.
Yeah, for sure.
I do expect pretty much everybody to come back here as soon as they get a glove, though.
Yeah, it's not really one of those spots that people tend to just leave behind.
Yeah, especially in Standard, where you know that at least some of your opponents were able to grab it already.
Yeah, that kind of makes you want to double down on it, because if there's something good there, you don't want everyone else to have an advantage of you right from the get-go.
So coming out of the escape, typically you start with a tree pull. Marty doing the one on the way up to the Lumberjack. Everybody else going to Lost Woods.
Yeah, Marty by going up to the Lost Woods, or going up to the Lumberjack, does get that bush crab as well. Didn't have anything good though, but it does get to see that Lumberjack is pretty much dead. So if we want to do Anya, it's not going to be because we want to have 5 rupees, I'm pretty sure.
The other benefit to routing it this way is he also has the opportunity to do an extra tree pull. So coming out of the escape, he had a tier 2, and he killed that Buzz Blob, and he'll be able to get a tier 1, which will be a completely different prize. Possibly bombs.
Yeah. I don't think he killed anything since he did a triple though, right?
Did he not kill the Buzz Blob?
Maybe. If he did, I missed it.
So Rowlin and Tala, both without bombs, decided to head to go buy some. Rowlin's going to do it on the way over to Sahasrahla, though. While Tala just check in Sick Kid real quick, and then apply bombs here in Kakariko.
So what's the odds of Rowlin going straight into Eastern here, you think?
I think
it's a pendant.
I think it's a bad play, personally.
Yeah, I don't think it's super likely, but it being a pendant makes it a little bit more likely, maybe. But then at the same time, it's a green pendant, so you're definitely leaving something behind no matter what. So, we're like halfway through Kakariko, and we have Darkwood access.
He's walking outside. Looks like he's going to go in.
Oh boy. This is the big pants play.
Yeah, I guess the thought here is like, wow, I can't believe Sahasrahla didn't have anything. I better make my trip over here worth it.
Yeah.
But in general, like, a pendant dungeon that you can't even full clear or is completely in logic versus, like, Kakariko and South Shore is not the strongest play you can make. But if there's something here, man, suddenly he's the galaxy brain, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially in Daylays, if you want to have like a good performance in terms of everyone else in the field, doing a couple of gambles that hopefully pays off is definitely one way to do it. And going this early into Eastern, like everyone else is gonna have Dark World access and probably skip Eastern unless they get the bow. And even if they get the bow, it's a pendant, so they're probably skipping Eastern anyways.
Raylan finds a sword in Eastern Palace. Not like the strongest progression item you could find, but pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's a good start for a consolation prize if there's no real progression here.
While Kick's finishing up Kakariko, headed down to check the library and race game. So Kakariko ended up being pretty good.
Yeah.
Gloves, Merle, and Hookshot. Aw, Walkix want those rubies, but not worth it.
How many were they?
300.
Yeah.
I thought it was 300. It might have been 100. It was definitely 3 digits.
I would probably be tempted to pick it up, but since he has Dark World access, it's a little bit less tempting, I guess. But if he's doing South Shore now...
Nope, we're going
Okay, we're going into Dark World, yeah. If he's leaving the money, then I agree with this play. Because if you're leaving the money, you should not do South Shore right after.
Pendant Pod and Turtle Rock.
So that means we could potentially have a bow in Ganon's Tower.
Oh, fun.
Now, for this being a standard seed, it really opened up really quick.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's been practicing their mimic clips today.
Hey, there's a book.
Walkix,
can I go check that? Yeah, right. Hey, there's these 300 rupees and the mitts. Okay, that's kind of hype, right?
Walkix with the God Vision. Oh, Raylan, unfortunately, miscalculating how much damage those anti-fairies do to him. We'll have to leave that chest behind.
Yeah, that's a little bit rough.
Yeah. You can't go back for that.
Nah.
The time loss is too intense.
So I got 2 items from Eastern. Only one of which was good. And how good that was is hard to quantify right now. Depends a little bit where the other swords are. Walkix getting the mitts, he's gonna head straight up to the mountain. With the mitts and the hookshot, he can do a lot of stuff up here.
Yeah, item density wise, this is a very good play. Logic wise, not so good. So Secret King, he's either skipping the lamp or the flute, and with no fire source, and Meyer being a crystal, like you're probably gonna want one or both of those.
Yeah, if only there was a way to skip fire source when you have hookshot in Hera.
Oh, that's not allowed. Can't do that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Do you think it's gonna be allowed?
I think it will definitely be allowed in Hera.
Yeah, I think so too.
Eventually, but until the Racing Council says something, it is currently banned.
Yeah.
And there goes Marty headed to the back of Escape. He's going to get his Bombos and second bottle. Tala right behind.
Ooh, flippers up in Death Mountain.
Hey.
I haven't even got to the East End yet, and we're already paying off.
You see the hit?
Yeah. Yeah,
I think it's hit inside Misery Mire, right? Not outside.
I think so.
Now we really want that flute, right?
I mean,
sequence breaking to get the hit.
If the lamp is the way to get up here, then the flute could very much be up here.
I'm curious if the sword in Eastern ends up being like a big advantage for Raylan, though. Until somebody else finds a sword, he's the only one who would even be able to get inside Meyer.
Yeah, the boots just blocking the other 3 swords.
It's very possible. Looks like Marty's going to start outside of Village of Outcasts, while Tala's going to Hype Cave.
Okay, I was just about to say Walkex has to be a little bit careful up here in how he routes the mountain because he doesn't have the mirror yet. But now he has a mirror, so he doesn't really need to worry about that too much.
All right, now will him the bow.
Did you say
You already
will
gave
him
him
the bow?
Yeah, you gave him the mirror through sheer force of will. Now do the same thing, but for the bow.
Oh, okay. Ah, arrows. Close enough, right?
It's basically a bow. Marty's doing front of Skull Woods is a pretty normal play here. Most typically, you should treat the front of Skull Woods just like regular overworld checks. Tal is going to go west from Hype Cave, though, and use those mitts to go up into Village of Outcasts from the bottom.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a little bit annoying when you don't have the mirror because you're going to leave Cave 45 alone here. But I kind of like it still. So Roland now has the Dark World access as well. Got to Kakaruk a little bit later because we went over to Eastern first. So we're gonna see what they're gonna do. We're gonna do check the dig spot first. Then we'll see what they decide to do after that. You can see a bomb jump here from Marty. It's a little bit more annoying to do without a sword, but I guess it first try, so well done. Gets the Kano burn as well.
Doesn't do a whole lot for us. Logical access to Spike Cave once we have mountain access. But currently, it looks like Walkick's trip up the mountain has been pretty fruitful. Flippers and a mirror.
Yeah. I mean, he could full clear Swamp now if he wants to.
Yeah, maybe not like his favorite place to go, but it's a very strong play.
Yeah, I mean, taking a gamble is going up here this early right away, right? So going to Swamp would be one way to just like really try and maximize the payout from that gamble. Interesting enough, now that he has the mirror and all that, he could actually like do the dam and Swamp in one go, which you very rarely get to see in a standard or open seed.
Yeah, the mirror, I think, is the big impactful play here, because now he can do the normal Village of Outcast checks, but also do Smith Sequence on his way towards Swamp, which he'll then be able to full clear as well. A very efficient routing. Although it's also possible that this early mirror just means he's going to do mirror checks that maybe everybody else gets to skip.
Yeah. The longer the seed is gonna end up being, the better it is having stuff like mirror, fluid, and booten. Just general stuff that makes your routing better. And also gonna mean that he's gonna isolate a lot less things, so if you end up having to full clear the seed, then you're not gonna have to like waste time going back to those spots again.
Meanwhile, in Village of Outcasts, we have gotten nothing, basically. All right, well, not punished for missing out on swords. You could have
Yeah,
a
I was kind of hoping that was gonna be a sword, to be honest.
So this is the big scary part of Wall Kick's routing. If Harris firelocked, he can't continue, and we'll have to leave this crystal dungeon behind.
Yeah, but now with the mirror, it doesn't take too long to get back. Unique item in the waterfall. Well,
And
good thing we have the mirror.
it is firelocked. I think the hint was worth it, though.
I think it was.
I think he's gonna go straight to flipper checks.
I totally would. He has 500 rupees, so
Maybe like walk up to Catfish and then just mirror over.
yeah. So he knows it can't be the boots, which there's always a hint for. So it has to be something else. There's a lot of good stuff that we're still looking for. It could be
Not the bug net.
not the fire round.
Fire rod in Thieves Sound. That's right. Of course, without a sword, Marty and Tala, who got that fire rod, will not be able to use it to kill Mothula. Raylan, however,
Yeah, we'll be able to full clear Skullwoods, which potentially might be our first crystal clear. No, we're gonna see Thief Sound. Never mind. Potentially be our second crystal clear. We can see. Let's see.
well, you say we'll see Thieves Sound, but we are on like 6 hearts hammer currently for fighting that boss.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but it's a much more challenging fight than you normally get to see in a standard seed.
Do have 3 bottles and a lot of money though. I think it was Marty. I saw someone at least buy a red potion before going in here. It's a shop right outside, so definitely have a possibility of getting more health.
Canis Samaria was our unique item in the waterfall. Definitely a nice find, although not exactly helpful right now.
Yeah, just need to find a flute for logical access up the mountain, and we can head over to my areas.
I'm a little disappointed that Wall Kicks didn't do these checks coming from Catfish.
That would have definitely been more efficient, but
Yeah, not as efficient as just skipping Catfish, though. So as long as
yeah,
he
right.
never goes to Catfish, then this was the right play.
Yeah, it's very easy when you get a hint about something to just like want to beeline that right away. You might have an idea of what you want to route in afterwards, and Catfish might not be part of that, so he might not want to lock himself into doing that entire route.
Yeah, this applies especially to a location like Waterfall Ferry, which is very, very accessible. Compared to like if you got a hint that said, hey, there's a unique item in Ice Palace, and you like don't have the hammer or something.
Yeah. Did see Ether Medallion in Thieves Town. That is required to get into Tutrock. Now the question remains if we actually need to go into Tutrock. But it's nice overall to get, because we don't know what we need from Maya yet.
Well, we got early Cane and Fire Rod. I'm thinking there's probably going to be something in Turtle Rock.
Why are those items required for Tutrock?
The Cane is, and the Fire Rod for usually most of it.
So Walkix is gonna go for the full clear swamp, swordless. How cool is this? How often do you get to do this?
I think I still would have done Village of Outcasts and then like route towards this.
Do you know what you need an ice rod for?
Killing Trinix.
Maybe we do need to go in there after all.
Oh, we found the ice rod. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just like that. Turtle Rock is completely full clearable. Still not in logic though, but just a lamp away from that. There's a lot of unique items in Thieves Town. What do we get there? We got the Fire Rod, Ice Rod, Ether. I don't know what the 4th item was.
Something.
Maybe a bottle or something. Oh, the cape.
Oh, the cape. Right, right.
That's 4 unique items.
That's crazy.
Hey, Walter, did you know that there's a unique item in Thief Sound?
Oh, really?
I heard. Tala running into a little trouble already on this hammer blind fight. Switching over to drink a potion. Rayleigh's having a bit of an easier time. Off script, but swords are pretty effective.
Go for some cape stress here, just waiting out. Blind again. Unfortunately, without the sword, cannot use any weapon as you are using the cape. Oh no! Didn't manage to really get that potion in fast enough. That's unfortunate. But we got all the items, so can safely just leave blind for later. Could come back in go mode and just take care of that later.
Well, you say that, but it is a red crystal.
Yeah, I just realized. I guess we can still use. There's no rush, right?
And we could potentially full clear Desert Palace right now with that book.
Okay, maybe there is a rush. So yeah, that sword from Eastern actually coming in handy here. Just every other sword is hidden away somewhere.
So Marty did not kill blind. He, I guess, noped out after the first 4.
Yeah, I believe he took a death in like the hallway and decided to leave it. Took a death somewhere.
So he misses out on
Ice Rod and
that's it.
he has the Ether, so he must have died on the way back from the upper levels, I guess.
I think, is this our first look at Mini Moldor? This can't be right.
No. Someone checked this earlier.
Okay. Okay, so Marty's going to go up to Pyramid and likely Catfish after, so we'll get to see those 2 checks that Wall Kicks could have done with the Zoro checks.
Oh
What?
boy.
What?
Oh boy. Oh boy. Catfish.
Oh, yeah. Catfish. Okay.
Yeah.
Freaking me out, man.
Super psyched for cats being fishes. So Pyramid is nothing and saves us in quits.
What?
We don't get to see Catfish.
That makes so little sense to me.
I said like, oh boy, 5 times for nothing.
Why would you save and quit there? I mean, Catfish is like a pretty slow check for 1 item, but when else are you gonna do it?
There's a
over in Ice Rod
mountain
Cave.
access.
Hey, we're in Logic.
Yeah, Sphere Zero Lamb. That everyone just decided to skip.
So who did Mini Moldor but didn't go on to Ice Rod Cave? Probably Marty. I think it was Marty.
I think it was Marty.
Yeah, that makes sense because that's like pretty much the same exact play as not doing Catfish.
Yeah, I get it.
We're just not going to do any of these slightly slow checks this suit.
I mean, sometimes that pays off.
If it pays off like every time. Like the idea here is like, you know, I skip all the slow stuff, and then eventually all I have left to do are the slow things, and I just do them until I find the progression. And as long as I didn't check, as long as the last one I check isn't the only one with progression, then, you know, I'm ahead because I got to skip at least some of them. And the trade-off is just you do each of those checks just a little bit slower than somebody who did them on the first pass.
Mm-hmm. And looks like we have a flute in the back of Skullwood, so how about that?
That is Meyer access.
Yeah, and that's
access.
logical access for Rallan to get up to the mountain. Speaking of the mountain, both Tale and Marty is up there right now, so they're gonna get some nice stuff up here. Gonna also see what's in Hera for. We didn't really get to see that earlier with Walkick's trip up here.
It's probably the bow. Oh, that would suck.
Yeah, that sword is, I don't know, it's really paying off, honestly.
I wonder what Wallkix does following Swamp. Does he like go east and check out Mini Moldorm Cave? And then get his
It's
first
rough.
Fire Source and Ice Rod Cave? Or does he just say, you know what, let's continue doing Crystal Dungeons and walk over to Thieves Town?
I personally would probably just go for the crystals at this point, but it's like a scary spot to leave. Like, just leaving Ice Road Cave alone is usually pretty scary, but leaving Minimoldorm too. Like, I could see him like go for Minimoldorm and then heading that way, I guess. There's the bow! Okay. Are we like in no mode at this point, as long as we don't need quick?
I guess a second sword.
That's crazy.
That's it, yeah. That's it. Okay, to answer Kern in chat here, the difference is that Wallkix had the flippers, and Marty does not have them or any information on where they are. Like, for all he knew, the flippers were on Catfish. Slowest fight ever.
Yeah, you wanna hook at least 2 at a time here to minimize the amount of menus you have to do, if possible.
Kern won't stop arguing with me. Can you protect me, Walter?
I'm pretty sure Kern will just glitch around me, so...
Can you just explain to him that his reasoning for skipping Catfish when you just got the mitts makes no sense if you're walking up to
Let's see what the Kern say. He said he could find them, and honestly, he's about to be correct.
Nice hammer hits here from Wallkix.
Yeah, really solid.
Oh, just when I said something.
Never mind.
So Swamp was empty-ish. I guess we got a bow. That's nice.
Yeah, I think the bow is probably required.
I mean...
Unless you want to do Mimic Clip.
I mean, it's not like he's gonna go to Pot and Eastern, right?
He might have to.
Yeah,
he's observed.
Looks like he's going over to Sphere 1. Gonna check Mini Moldorm Cave and Ice Rod Cave, possibly.
Yeah, I don't blame him for this. The Galaxy Ring would be just to keep skipping this, but it's like a scary spot to just leave.
So Raylan hasn't done Hype Cave? No, he hasn't.
Yeah, this
I guess he did Thieves Town, got the Fire Rod, and then did Skull Woods, and then just saved and quit, and opted out of the southern checks.
Yeah, makes sense. It's everything being accessible so early. It's just definitely had a lot of different routing decisions here from our runners. So Wallkix did do Minimoldorm and then is now heading towards Thieves Town area. Gonna do all the Smith sequence except for the purple chest on the way. So if we see like a vanilla sword on the Smiths, or if there's one in K45 here, that would be really good news for Wallkix. Leading right into that flute as well. And it would be like a sword that's kind of isolated from the rest of the runners at the moment.
Just a single arrow. I'm disappointed he didn't pick that up. He should have picked that up.
Why?
How else could he kill Ganon?
You ever heard of Civilis?
Yeah, that's why it's not a silver single arrow.
My normal single arrow don't do anything against Ganon.
Yeah, but that one will.
The arrow is a lie.
You're a lie. Also Swedish. What now?
That
yeah,
is factually correct.
That's what I thought. Okay, anyway, so we get to see our first look at Tower of Hera basement. This will be a big key that will give Marty access to the rest of the dungeon that Walkix had to nope out of. It's going to be like 90 more seconds before we see anything new. Tell me a story, Walter.
Okay. There once was this guy called the Old Man. He really liked Tammuz.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
It's old Swedish folklore.
Okay, we got our big key. Now we get to head up Tower of Hera.
Okay, so we know both the items are gonna be up here. And anything of interest would really just be Quake or Sword at this point. Some extra safeties wouldn't hurt, I suppose.
Man, it's going to be a long time before anybody gets those boots, isn't it? Raylan's the only one who was able to get the flute, and he's skipping Ice Cave.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's the only one who starts, yeah.
Yeah, the sword locked the flute, right?
Yeah. Okay, you're ready for a vanilla sword. Vanilla fighter sword. You always get fighter sword from the smith, right? Look at this.
Oh my god.
I'm so good at this.
Stop willing items to Walkix. It's not fair to the rest of the runners.
That's actually like fantastic news for Walkix though.
Oh yeah, now he can just like, and with coming up from the bottom of Village of Outcasts 2, like he's gonna find his fire rod on the way to Skullwoods instead of right after he did it. Walkix has definitely had the god vision in this seed so far.
Yeah, for sure. So the flute is
the
on
back
the
of Skullwoods.
Yeah, I think it's on Mothula actually. And then the Burna was the second item in Skullwoods in the big chest.
So you gotta think like Walkix is going to Mire right after this.
Yeah, 100%. He's gonna have 2 medallions as well because he's doing Feastown first. I don't see him
sword
doing
was in
anything else.
The front of Eastern Palace. He was the only person to make that dip into Pendant Eastern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, at this point, he could potentially end up being the only one getting that sword.
Yeah, so assuming that Mire is not Quake, Walkix will go to GT before he ever goes into Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is no world where he dips
sword
Eastern
mode
first, except for Quake being required. Mighty Chicken Hobo. Just some rupees.
Did we not see that earlier?
I couldn't remember if Walkix worked a hobo in while he was doing flipper checks.
Okay, so here's the question. If Well, if Wall Kicks goes to Meyer, which I imagine he will, and he can get into it, how many checks do you shake on the way to Ganon Tower? Do you full clear all the dungeons, or do you like semi-go mode them?
Like if I find out I'm in sword go mode,
Mm-hmm.
I don't go out of my way for checks, but I'll do things that are like on the way. So Ice Palace is a great example of this, where I check like the Pengator room, the Compass room, and Freezors, but I wouldn't go over to Ice Tea and I wouldn't do the right side.
Yeah.
I like
think-
when you're
I
when
think
you're in
that's the
sword mode,
most.
there's 3 other swords, right? There has to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
one
yeah.
on the way, surely.
Don't call me Shirley. But yeah.
Is there a Swedish
Yeah, I
language
think we
version
just,
of
like-
airplane?
I'm not sure. But yeah, I think you're probably just like semi-go mending stuff. Like Meyer, you're gonna pretty much most likely full clear because you're looking for the boots, and the big key might just lead you to full clearing anyways. And then like yeah, Ice Palace, you don't want to full clear that if you don't have to, right? So he's like semi-go mode that.
Yeah, there's a
Then
huge
Tower of
difference
Hera,
between
you're
full
pretty
clear
much
and go mode.
Tower of Hera, you're pretty much full clear in Desert as well because they're really fast. You just check everything,
Definitely.
and then it's like Ganon Tower after that.
Now, following GT, like if you do GT and you still don't have a sword, then Pot and Eastern are looking pretty darn good. That's a lot of checks really all together.
Mm-hmm.
The problem there is that you probably do Pot first.
Yeah. Yeah, just the fact that it has more items, you're gonna be in the dark world when you're getting there anyways. Because you want to combo them. Guess there's only one more item in Pod today than in Eastern, because Eastern has like technically 4.
Yeah, you want to avoid doing the boss fights if you can, because those are the slower single item checks. So like you probably, if you're just looking for a sword, you do like all of Pod except for Helma, then you'd full clear Eastern, and then you turn in the green pennant and then kill Helma's sword.
Okay, how about this scenario? Wall Kicks goes against Tower with the fighter sword. There's no sword in the basement. Is there ever a scenario where instead of climbing, you head over to Tart Rock to shake a couple of chests there for a sword before climbing?
Go to
Or do
Turtle
you use
Rock?
or do you like climb right away and then come back up, or do something else afterwards?
I wouldn't do it. I could see somebody doing that though, and gambling on Turtle Rock having the sword versus the gauntlet chest. But that it seems wrong, because like you're gonna have to do the gauntlet anyway. Like, but then it puts you
Mhm.
on the pyramid instead of on the mountain. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it.
I probably wouldn't do that as well. It's just interesting. Like if you're doing the climb, then most likely right after the climb, if you don't have a sword, you're probably just doing Pod and Eastern, because that's the most like item dense areas you can get quickly.
I mean, odds are none of this is gonna matter, and he's just gonna find a sword in like Mire Shed or something. So Walkix finishes Thieves Town. He has the fire rod and a sword, and we'll be going to Skullwoods, which he can full clear and get his flute.
Yeah.
It looks like Marty's going to finish up Thieves Town now.
And Roland still not have still not checked that hype cave, so Gonna get a bit of a late mitts, but that might not necessarily be bad.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate because like he gained such an advantage getting that sword out of Eastern that nobody else is gonna get. But the sword is the reason he's not doing Hype Cave. It took him away from going over there.
Yeah, for sure. But there wasn't anything in the Dark Death Mountain, right? So he's not getting punished by climbing here without them.
Yeah, it really depends on like what he does as soon as he gets the Mets.
He's going to flip to free, so not sure exactly what we're doing here.
Graveyard Ledge?
I guess.
I can't think of it what else it would be. He already did.
He might be doing Graveyard Ledge into Catfish and then the Sorsheks.
I don't like this versus doing Hype Cave.
Yeah. I think the reason he's doing this though is because he has that hint about a unique item in the waterfall, and this time around he wants to make sure he gets Catfish too.
He can just mirror over to the flipper checks. That makes a lot of sense.
So Tale got the bow and is now... Well, I guess it depends on where she goes after this, but definitely not in a bad spot right now. I keep getting progression items and clearing dungeons, so that's always good. There's the flute for wall kicks. Probably pretty happy to see that. Wall kicks probably on a path to be skipping the lamp for the rest of the game.
Yeah, he has basically no reason to head over to Ice Road Cave. And with the silver arrows, he's not worried about Bitrus at all. So like even if he takes a bunch of damage doing the dark rooms, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Mirror. Wall kicks. Buddy. Or was there another item? He didn't get burner yet.
I mean, yeah, there is another item. And right now, the only thing that could be on pad that's really of value would be like Quake. So I don't think he's like thinking pad is going to be very valuable. But he did say go to pad in his title. So I guess I'm a little bit disappointed.
Tali finishing up her swordless Argus.
Yeah. Well done. Had the silver arrows going in here, so didn't have to do the hammer hits for the second phase.
This always feels bad for wall kicks, right? Like he went to the backs first, specifically to get to skip some checks, and the game makes him full clear scolds anyway to get the second item. And it's just the Cane of Burna. Wall kicks?
Yes, the Cane of Burna. Do you know how many of our runners would have been happy to have that Cane of Burna on the blind fight?
Would have been nice. I guess he's going to get purple chest?
He's going to activate the flute.
Oh, right. That's right. The flute. I kept thinking, like, why isn't he just going to Meyer?
Yeah.
Just go to Meyer. Come on, buddy.
I think everyone who's played the randomizer has, at one point, tried to use the flute without activating it first.
I think I did it yesterday. So Wall Kicks has lots of options here. Like, he could also go to Ice Palace or up to Hair or something, but the Meyer area is by far his best play.
Yeah, and it's going to buy potions, so I think that signalizes Hera. Or, I mean, not Hera. I mean, maybe, you know, Moldarm does have another name, so... But I think that signalizes going to Meyer.
He's pretty well equipped. He's pretty well equipped for Meyer. Like, I don't think he'll need to use a potion through Meyer or Ice Palace for that matter. But, like, if he ends up going to GT with the Fighter Sword, he'll want one for that.
Yeah. But the Dark Rooms can be a little bit iffy sometimes, especially it depends on how well practiced you are with them. And a lot of stuff in those Dark Rooms deal 1 heart of damage. And it doesn't have too many hearts, so there's bombos getting to Meyer, so we can get to Ganon's Tower.
That officially puts us in Sword Go mode.
Yeah, and seeing the both of the tablets only had money, that means that pet is very much dead right now.
Oh, it was near Meyer. I thought it was in Meyer.
I thought I was near in Meyer too, but I wasn't sure. So
yeah, it's hard for us to read the text.
That hint always gets me because every time I check a hint and it just says Meyer, that's the only thing I read. When I read Meyer, nothing else.
Well, we have to watch the stream in like 240p.
Oh, you didn't get that super fancy 1080p that I got?
What? No.
Oh.
How? Tell me.
Oh, stop talking. Nothing, Kong, nothing.
You're mean. And Tali says, no thanks, I don't need a bug net.
So Rallen now finally has the mitts and is
Wall Kicks is in
heading right over here as well. Did he get a sword?
Yeah, sword in right side of desert on the way to the big key. Literally no one will skip that.
Well, that's pretty sweet then.
What's amusing is Rollin's gonna skip the sword on Smith now, right?
Yeah,
because he's just gonna find the Master Sword too.
Sure, for sure.
So the Eastern Palace play ended up not even mattering a little bit.
So if Tale or Marty heads over to Desert, was that key boot? No, or that sword bootlock?
Yes. I think the small key was on the torch.
That's unfortunate. So there still has to find. Yeah, they still have to find the sword from the smith or Eastern then, unless they go all the way over to Desert and then like steal the key.
Marty has that sword.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Yeah, so all Marty needs to do is just head over to Skullwoods and get the flute, and then everything just kind of lines up from there. And honestly, going back to Skullwoods makes a lot more sense than going into Ice Palace.
So Raven not in Go mode yet. He has to go to Swamp in order to get in Go mode. Luckily, because he's in the same position where he could semi-Go mode, but that's a lot more risky when you're looking for the bow. Because there's like not 4 bows in the scene. But even if he were to semi-Go mode, he would still get the bow because like you don't skip that chest in Swamp when you're like not in Go mode.
This does mean it's pretty unlikely he's going to be doing like left side, so there is a little bit of time to be saved there. But currently, gotta say, Wall Kicks has the advantage moving forward.
Oh yeah, he has a massive advantage right now. He can like full-fledged Go mode everything. He might still shake a few things because he might want to get tempered. but I don't think he's gonna go out of his way in any sense whatsoever. Tolly having a little bit of issues with these style foes. Kind of missed the quick setup and can be a little bit rough after that because you don't really have the same timing that you're used to. You don't really practice any backup strats for that room. Also used like Swordless, Ice Palace overall. It's not fun.
Definitely not. No Godmire today.
Does he count as Godmire if that map tells him where the big key is?
No. Oh, Wall Kick's getting hit by the fireball there. So it's a really subtle thing. But if the fire snake isn't in the way when you dash across the lobby like there, then the timing works out perfectly. Where if you start your dash down up the stairs, the fireball will always hit you, and you just prevent this by just taking a step up before starting your dash down, and you'll dodge the fireball every time.
Interesting. I can't say I knew that. Well, I can say.
It only applies when the fire snake wasn't in the way. If the fire snake wasn't in the way, you can just dash normally.
Mm-hmm. So, interesting routing from Wall Kicks. Doing both of the fire chest here in my ear before doing the lobby chest. He did not get a small key from the other firelock chest, so if he did, this would be guaranteed to be the big key. But he didn't, so now he kind of could probably have avoided this.
Well, if you end up going to the right side, then it's faster to do this before the lobby chest by, I think, 10 seconds or something.
Yeah, but he's just looking for the big key. He's not looking at full clear this.
Yeah, I don't think he minds too much, though, because he's also, you know, it'd be nice to find a sword or something.
Nice. We don't play Link to the Past because it's nice.
No, we play it because it's awesome. And it's National Video Game Day.
Only in America.
Right. Wall Kicks is American.
For now.
For now. Is he moving to Sweden with you?
I can neither confirm or deny that. So Marty, unfortunately, is gonna get baited into Ice Palace here as well. Which is, it's quite unfortunate. So far, we haven't really seen anything of value whatsoever in Ice Palace. Would be nice if they like got a sword or something at least.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. I mean, Tali's gonna run out of options, though, right? Looking for this sword.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and eventually she's either gonna go do Smith Sequence and get one from the Smith, or go to Eastern and get one there.
Yeah. For Marty, I'm kind of like...
Yeah, I don't understand this play here.
He decides to go here before Skullwoods, because Skullwoods, he's already done the front part, so he only needs to do the back part to get both a crystal and an item. So...
Yeah, and he knows he's likely just flute from Go mode.
Mm-hmm.
Not counting a sword.
So Wall Kicks, never mind. I was thinking he was still in the first room, but he's not. So he's making good time here in the dark parts of my ear. didn't even go for dark spooky Maya. Have you ever seen anyone do that, Kai?
I have not,
Do you know why?
because you can't see what you're doing.
Exactly. It's dark. How could you see it?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually super difficult to place that Samaria block in the dark properly, and then to do it while also not breaking your spooky setup.
Yeah. But also, you would not be able to see it anyways. So that's a pretty quick way of taking care of Vitreous. But don't you wish that silver arrows used to work on every boss? Like,
Or
imagine
none
this
of them.
boss fight against Coulter. 3 silver arrows and kill them all.
I think I'd like to see the
Pierces
silver
through
arrows
all of
just
them. They're just standing in a row.
what?
That's how they work, right?
So Tali's down to half a heart here on Cold Stare.
Yeah, this is pretty scary. Pretty much one hit kill him. Oof, that was.
Please stop
was
cutting it so
very
close.
close.
You're scaring me.
Okay, there we go.
Nicely done.
Didn't even break a sweat. See, I knew that Tali could get it. Koi just don't believe in people.
So this should be go mode ice palace from all kicks.
Might still check the freezer chest, maybe even this chest if he really wants to get it, but yeah, he's just skipping this one. Makes sense. And like the freezer, I think most people probably check in go mode if you're at Master Sword.
Really?
But like when you have, I don't know, me personally, I don't check it too often. But
I'm like half magic. I got two.
I don't know. Yeah. I find that most people check it on Master Sword.
I mean, I definitely check it on Fighter Sword.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, the half magic and cape definitely makes the Master Sword Ganon fight a lot more like, well, less intimidating. Did Rollin never get the silvers from Stumpy?
No, he didn't, because he didn't go south after Thieves Town, and I guess when he got Hive Cave, that was good enough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Went straight over here.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, I guess. That's a bit unfortunate, because he's never gonna get those.
Yeah, silvers are going to make a huge difference in this Ganon fight if he's still on Master Sword. What is it? It's like a full minute, right? Just for phase 4. Like the difference between silvers and no silvers.
That's not about right.
It's like 30 seconds with tempered, I know.
Yeah, and you need to do twice as many spins, so...
So, Walter, you see how Marty did the big chest room in Ice Palace without getting locked between those blocks?
I'm not sure where you're going with this, but yeah.
You should try that sometime.
Okay.
I gotta get this clip. So somebody have the clip for me, so I don't have to look it up.
So at the moment, Walkix is the only runner in Go mode. Roland is missing the boat from Swamp Palace. Tale is missing swords and flute. The swords are directly blocking the flute. And is about to get a sword here in Eastern. And Marta is pretty much missing the flute as well.
Yeah, Rollin, unfortunately, he's going to have to be finding this bow. And going to Ice Palace before Swamp means just more time.
Yeah, so bow is required because you need it to get past the mimics. You could actually skip the bow if you do the mimic clips, but it's a pretty tedious glitch that I don't think everyone is fully comfortable with. So you
Tala,
could technically skip the bow and the seed if you really wanted to.
yep. Tala did go over to Eastern and entering Eastern before Pod even, and noped out after the first chest with that sword, headed straight to Skullwood. So she is on track.
Yeah,
go mode.
that's really good news. Is probably going to be in go mode before Rowland, actually.
Looks like Marty's also headed over to Skullwoods.
Yeah, they're gonna be just right next to each other for the rest of the seed, most likely. Oh yeah, right. Tolly still needs to finish the blind fight here. And wall kicks is not quite going to get his star yet, but it's gonna go there soon. Do we start the big key guessing game like early? Because like when he gets his 7 crystal, it's gonna be pretty fast.
I guess it. I mean, it doesn't really
it.
matter because we can't run the real game. We can only play the just for fun game.
But we can pretend we're playing the real game.
I don't know what the rules are for a situation like this.
I think as soon as the third hit hits Moldarn, we do it. Or, well, people are typing it now, so let's just go now, I guess.
Can I just point out that this is a seed where the Harapot would have saved like 90 seconds?
Yeah, it would. Would have been the play.
Oh, Marty feels a little desperate going to check Pedestal.
Oh, you said a little bit of love. So since we're not playing the real big key guessing game, does that mean we can make up our own rules?
What kind of rule would you like to add?
That's a good question that I probably should have thought of a follow-up before I said that. How about the winner gets to play the seed, but only as a pet seed? And you have to forget about everything in the seed, because otherwise that would be shitty.
Alright, I feel like you're just saying things now.
That's factually correct.
And there is Marty's flute.
Yeah, probably not super happy about seeing that.
Why not?
Seeing how, well, because he knows he could have been here way sooner.
Yeah, I guess.
So that's 7 crystals for wall kicks, though. I didn't get to see what your guess was.
Yeah, now we're doing the game. 22 locations. One has the big key. Guess 1 through 22. Blah 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 blah. All right, time's up.
So where do you think it's gonna be?
First chest.
First chest?
I would say first chest. I don't like the big key guessing game personally. I don't like to play it.
I feel like
No, I feel like
It's International Video
if-
Game Day, Koi. You have to play the game.
if I guess correctly, right, then people like start accusing me of influencing the big key location. And I just
No,
can't handle that kind of responsibility.
not really. Hope it's number one.
Well, if it's one though, then people are thanking me for influencing the big key's location, right?
Don't they want as late number as possible?
I mean, chat does. Wall kicks does not.
Oh, you mean the runners would be excusing you?
Oh yeah, I don't care about chat.
Well, I'm not scared of wall kicks, so.
I'm kidding. I love you guys.
We're making so many friends today.
Alpha. Come on,
So it's
go forward.
not in the compass
forward.
room.
Do it, wall kicks.
You think
Go
it's
full
gonna
right.
go full right?
No, nobody goes full right. See, he's mirroring.
Yeah.
Coward!
Why would you go full right, huh? There's like,
It's the fastest way to ice armos.
yeah, but it's not the most likely way of getting the big key as fast as possible. Only if it's on like ice armors.
Right. Well, it's a meta play, right? Because the Pink Magician is currently like the most popular route. That's
Yeah.
the one you see people do the most often. And Pink
Is that
Magician does
really
ice
the most
armos
popular
last.
one right now?
Well, I mean, in the dailies that I see, and I commentate like a lot of dailies.
Yeah, I guess I'm
I
surprised
see-
that would be the most popular one.
I see Pink Magician definitely the most often. The route that Wall Kicks taking the hybrid route, this is probably the second most popular, and then the Hope route, which used to be the most popular, has fallen off considerably.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost never see anybody do Dark Magician anymore.
So here's my thinking. Walker's got in go mode pretty quick. He did a couple of like plays that most people probably wouldn't do early. So my guess he probably feels pretty good right now. So if you're feeling pretty good, you might just want to go for like the safe place, right? No need to take extra gambles this late.
I mean, it depends, you know. And like it all comes down to luck at this point, right? Like where the big key is. Because while Wall Kicks has had a fantastic run through this seed, right? There's what, like 1,000 people in the race? Like somebody else had the same route.
Mm-hmm.
And if one of those other people who had the same route as you is one of the stronger runners, like Goomba or somebody like that, you know, like you don't want to be doing the same things that he does through Ganon Tower, because he's probably ahead. So it comes down to like, okay, do I want to, how much do I actually want to meta game this, right?
Yeah, looks like the big key is gonna be Bomb Chest, Ice Armors, or the tile room. So, man, I wish Wall Kicks would have just gone full right as I hoped for.
That's what I'm saying. The more people that do
totally
Pink
my
Magician,
idea too.
the stronger full right becomes as a meta play.
I guess, yeah.
Also, the Hope route, which gets to Ice Armos, also pretty quickly.
Hey.
Compared to the rest.
Looks like we don't have to worry too much about swords after all.
Oh, we just get tempered. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking about these 1,000 people in this race, by the way, none of them have finished yet. So Wall Kicks, if he keeps this up, could finish first 1,000.
Are we allowed to say that?
One.
That people haven't finished? Because obviously we're not supposed to say that people have finished, but I feel like saying that people haven't finished is confirming when we don't say that people haven't finished, that people have finished. You follow me?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're allowed to say that. If not,
You don't follow me. It's okay.
No. I don't. I guess.
Well, I just mean like if every race where somebody on the race stream's in GT and we mention that nobody has finished yet, then every time we do a commentary where we don't say that, it's like we're saying that somebody has finished. I'm probably overthinking it. I haven't slept in a while.
But you're allowed to say when people finish, even though people on Restream haven't finished, right?
We're not supposed to do that. That detracts from the experience for the viewers who don't care about people who aren't on the race stream.
I think you're just talking nonsense right now.
It's in the rules, man. Pretty sure.
I thought you were American. Do you really care about the rules?
Wow. Jingoism. What is this? Can somebody ping a moderator for me?
Yeah, sure. Let me see.
Wallcake's going through the gauntlet. It's putting that tempered sword to use.
Yeah, he's been just clearing through this gauntlet really quickly. And in the meanwhile, Raylan did find his Go mode item. So we pretty much have every runner in Go mode right now. 2 of which are still looking for a Master Sword. But they're gonna find that in Desert. And even if they don't pick that up, they're probably gonna find it in Ganon Sour unless they somehow skip Bob's chest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Raylan is gonna stock up on some potions before heading up to Ganon Tower. Makes sense. Might as well. You have the flute. Doesn't take very long time to buy some potion. And comparing that time with like dying in Gauntlet, I think that's probably worth it. One hit and one spin takes down Moldor too. Checks the chest
no clutch
with
fall
the
heal.
name that I almost said. Yeah.
What name was that?
I think he's fine with the health he has.
Oh yeah, no, he's totally fine. Tempered Silvers, Half Magic, 2 bottles, Cape, Burna. Nothing could go wrong.
Yeah, and there's the sword from Marty, so that's really good news for him. And Tale is right behind him, gonna get that big key and sword as well.
So you pretty much have to have Tempered during your Ganon fight this seed. Because the sword in Desert. Well, I guess if you
can
stole
steal
the
the
key,
small key, but that's
like the only way.
kind of unlikely that people would do that. Yeah, it would be like if you went to Desert super early and you don't have the boots, and you're like, well, might as well steal the key and see if I can get something out of this. That's like the only way I can see that happening. You know, sometimes people throw the bomb in at Bob's chest too early, and then like can't get to it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So this is gonna end up being a fantastic time for wall kicks. Assuming this Ganon fight goes as planned. Got a 2 cycle in the first phase. Is gonna get a nice 1 cycle here. Good pattern from Ganon to get those double spins in. So that's like the hard part. Now all he needs to do is not fall down a hole, and that sounds like super easy.
Sometimes easier said than done.
I mean, most things are easier said than done.
I mean, if you're gonna fall to Ganon, it's probably gonna be during a Ganon fight where you're completely over-equipped for it, right? Just like the overconfidence takes you.
Yeah. Nice torch ledge. That hit. And a triple. No, he didn't get the triple, but he does get Ganon down. So get your GGs in for wall kicks. Because he's about to be
GG.
done. So wall kicks has indeed finished. And he finished third with an official time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 46 seconds, setting a new PB in SRL with like almost 15 minutes. So that's pretty impressive. Get your GGs in. Goomba finished first with a 1:18.1, and
What a surprise!
Frostbite got second 35 seconds later with a 1:18.46. So that's our 3 finishers so far.
So what you're saying is Walkix would have won if he went full, right?
I mean, that's what you're saying.
Oh my god, he would have.
Yeah, I probably would have.
Oh my god.
For sure.
I don't know, how long does Random Room take? Well, no, Random Room and so yeah, he definitely would have
entire full left.
He would have won if he went full, right?
Yeah. We're gonna see if Walkix wants to join us for an interview. In the meanwhile, I still have 3 runners going at it. 2 are on their way up to Ganon's Tower, and 1 is in it already. So they're really making a good time here as well.
I mean, all in all, this ended up being like a pretty nice seed, right? The only thing, like just a little bit out of a way, was getting a sword.
Yeah. The sword was definitely an issue for a while for most of our runners on the restream at least. And I imagine it might have been for maybe quite a few runners in this race.
We're gonna have a pretty good race here, though, between these last 3.
So Roland is about to get his tempered, and then he is gonna get those that big key. And tempered is really gonna be nice for him because he doesn't have the silvers, so that's like a really good upgrade. We have Walkix in chat right now. We're working on getting you in here, but everyone get your GGs in for Walkix in the meanwhile. Okay, it looks like we're joined by Walkix. GGs, dude.
Dude, GG's. What a seed.
Why didn't you go full right?
I don't know.
That was
should
the win,
have.
man. This
I
was your
know.
first place.
I know, dude. I should have gone fluoride. It didn't, and then it burned me. But other than that, I mean, I've got nothing but good things to say about how I did this seed. I think I was a little stunned after getting flute in on Mothula, and I think you probably noticed it when I'm kind of like walking through Skullwoods, like, wait a minute, because I ended up skipping the other chest in the back of Skullwoods, and I'm like, am I really in sword mode? So I was a little flustered there, but everything else just fell into place.
Yeah. Is this the first time that you got to do the dam together with Swamp in an open or standard state?
It might have been, definitely. You know, there are times where if I have Dark World access through Hammer and Glove by the time I'm done with Kakariko, I do like to go straight to Hype Cave, and you know, if I'm lucky enough, maybe get a mirror so I can route the rest of it in. But getting Titans in Hype Cave, even though it was sequence break, told me, okay, I've got a lot I can do on the mountain. So let's make that play as opposed to, you know, the South Shore, maybe over to Eastern where other runners might do, and it worked out.
Yeah, it definitely did. It was very interesting. Like all four of you, well, at least like we had 3 different directions that people were running into in the early game. It was just very different. We did actually have a sword in Eastern, which one of our runners got early. So
Okay.
that was like the first sword for a very long time.
Right.
I think your like trip up the mountain really helped out, because once you got over to Village of Broadcast, you already had both mitts and the mirror, so that made you like not miss that sword, while a couple of other runners didn't really get that until way later.
Yeah, and I mean, the routing just kind of opened itself up after doing the mount. You know, I had the ability to do Swamp Palace, and so I did Swamp. Then with the mitts, I just kind of worked my way. Actually, I think I did Mini Moldorm came after Swamp Palace.
Yeah, you did.
So, super late Mini Moldorm cave.
How bad would you have felt if there was 2 swords in there?
I mean, I wouldn't have felt terrible, honestly. I might have felt like a little bit like, oh man, I could have maybe played, you know, I could have maybe done Argus a little faster, but I really wouldn't have felt too bad, honestly. Although had there been 2 swords, I would have checked Pompo's tablet.
Yeah, the big play for you this seed was the early Turtle of the Mountain, the sequence break up the mountain. Like Walter was saying, it gave you a much easier opportunity to do the Smith sequence, getting that sword. But in addition to that, it was just nicer routing overall because the Fire Rod was in Thieves Town. So if you like came from the top and you did front of Skullwoods, then you went down to Thieves Town, then you went back to Skullwoods, which is exactly what happened to Raylan, who did get that sword out of Eastern, and it ended up drawing him away from Hype Cave for a long time.
Yeah, and you know, as I was doing that, you know, Thieves Town had basically your welcome package for Turtle Rock. It had the medallion for Turtle Rock, and it had Fire and Ice Rod. And so at that point, you know, even though I still had Skullwoods and Ice Palace to do and was going to do those first, you know, I had to start thinking to myself, okay, if I don't find the flute, you know, which one of my pendant dungeons am I going to go into? I mean, I could essentially go up and full clear Turtle Rock. I have all of Pod, all of Eastern, Sahasrahla, Pyramid, Catfish, you know, it just, and then of course the Mothula dropped the flute and all that just became irrelevant. And then of course I found the Master Sword like immediately afterwards and was in go mode.
Yeah, the late sword for most runners didn't really made sure that no one really got baited into doing Touch Rock and Respring at least.
I mean, it could have happened, at least with how my routing, you know, with how my routing worked. If Mothula didn't have the flute, I probably would have put Turtle Rock before Pod Eastern and Sahasrahla area, just because I had gotten everything I needed to go up from Turtle Rock.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question.
Is
So
it current question?
You're finishing Skullwoods, right?
Okay.
You have the potential of Quake being on head. Your file name is Go. What's up with that? Why didn't
you know, I was gonna check Ped after Mothula, but getting the flute on Mothula just kind of scrambled my brain a little bit. and I didn't think straight for a few seconds after that.
I guess that's reasonable.
And it was just kind of like oh god, please don't let Meyer be Quake.
Yeah. Yeah, we never saw Quake, so I guess that's good that it wasn't required.
I don't think it's in Ganon's Tower unless it's up at the top.
Yeah, might just be hiding in pod. We actually never saw anyone enter pod or Turtle.
Good seed overall.
Yeah, for sure. We have Rallin just dropping into the Ganon fight right now, and our other two runners are in the Ascent as well. So
I'm gonna use this as my PB standard. I didn't remember what my PB, like my overall PB was before this. I know it's a 120 and some odd seconds. I just don't remember what those seconds were, so I'm gonna count this as an overall PB.
It was a massive SRL PB for sure, at least.
Oh yeah, I think it was like a 15-minute SRL PB.
Yeah. So close to the sub 120, dude.
Just the full right, the full right play. I would have gotten the sword, I would have gotten the big key, everything would have been fine.
Yeah, next time you're in a position of getting a sub 120, you're gonna do the full right, and it's gonna be
full right. Of course.
That's how it works. The game knows.
I started doing this new thing where I pick my GT route based on what items I have. And if I have half magic, an immunity item, and silvers, I always go full right.
I think that makes sense. Half magic definitely, or like especially having boots as well, make the full right a lot more like, I don't know, kinder.
Yeah, I mean, because like I can do those rooms without those items. It's just it's so much easier, like effortless to do it with those items.
So Roland is doing the silverless. He actually never got the silver from Stumpy because he got really late mids. So unfortunately didn't get the torch glitch. It's a little bit of an annoying Ganon fight. He did buy a potion though, so he should be okay with magic. With still using the fire rod. But he's gonna have to settle for doubles instead of triples here.
Did he not pick up silvers, which I think were on?
No, this early sword led him into doing like Feast Town and Skullwoods early on, and then he just like went up the mountain. He just never got to like Hype Cave. So when he finally got to Hype Cave and got the mids, he just like went to Meyer right away for go mode.
Gotcha.
So GG's to Rollin, finishing at an official time of 1 hour 32 minutes and 23 seconds. And that is the 9th place in this daily race.
GG's to him.
And we're joined by Roland. First of all, how do I pronounce your name? Because I'm pretty sure I've mispronounced it like 15 different times.
I don't care really much about that. Okay. I have heard so many versions of it.
I imagine. But GG's, dude. What's your thought about this scene?
I can't really say much about the scene because I was very disappointed with my execution and all the small little mistakes and mishaps and whatever. It just annoyed me that I didn't play as good as I could have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which
you definitely had an interesting route compared to everyone else, because you were the only one who went to Eastern to get that sword, and that sword actually played quite a difference. But it did, unfortunately, like put you away from Hive Cave for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, I went that route specifically because I had a terrible escape, and then I already felt not good, so I thought about, let's just do the different thing. Let's just go over. And when I saw the sword, I thought to myself, it wasn't really worth, but that sword could be important. And when I then got the flute from the moth early, because I expect that to have found that earlier than most people, I think.
Yeah, definitely in terms of the restream, you were way ahead of getting Flute.
Yeah, that was the point where I thought, maybe I'm not so bad in this race, actually. But yeah, then it came down to, where is that bow?
Yeah, did you ever consider the idea of skipping the bow and try and go for the mimic clips in Ganon Tower?
I have never looked at it, and I am not confident in learning things quickly without much practice and just looking it up somewhere. So
Yeah,
I
that makes
thought about it
sense.
as soon as I knew that I could go into Mire. That this is just a seed for a mimic clip, and I'm not
Yeah.
able to do it.
It's a very finicky glitch for sure. Want to shout out our other two restreamed runners that just finished right after each other here, Marty and Tale. Tale at 12th pace with 1 hour 35 minutes and 18 seconds, and Marty was actually ahead with the 10th place of 1 hour 34 minutes and 22 seconds. So GG's to all of our restream runners, and see if we can get them in here as well. Want to make sure to shout out another runner, just random runner from the in the SRL race. Katatada got a PB with almost a new PB, SRL PB with 29 minutes and 32 seconds. So that's pretty huge. So GG's to that one as well.
I mean, I'm not too surprised about this being the fastest feat. If you go to Eastern and route it the way I did, then you have the hint for the unique item in Thieves Town earliest, which I still wonder to this point which of the 4 was actually meant.
Yeah, there were all unique items in there. That was pretty crazy.
I feel like the God Vision route through this seed would have been to get the early Eastern Sword and then to start at Hype Cave instead of at Village of Outcast, and then just route up through Village, and then you get your Fire Rod on the way to Skullwoods. It was unfortunate that you went the other direction and had to go back up to Skullwoods, and by that point now Hype Cave is super far away, and you just got access to a bunch of other stuff on the mountain.
I mean, I thought about going to Hype Cave, but it was about a 50-50 about a quick Hype Cave to a race game or going up the mountain without the mids, and ultimately I decided for the mountain because I didn't have the mirror and tried to get the mirror before I do that route, so it could maybe route in the Smith chain as well.
Yeah, which actually had the last sword on Vanilla Smiths. I think Marty and Wallkicks both got their first sword from Smiths, and you and Tale got it in Eastern. It was interesting though, because the other 2 swords were on the way, right, to the big keys in both Desert and GT. So
yeah, but
you pretty much always have Tempered Sword at the end of this seed.
Yeah, but that early Eastern Sword was unlocking that flute so much earlier was in the end very powerful with how the swords were laid out, because you didn't really get to an easy sword without the one in Eastern.
Yeah, a sword was basically blocking 2 other swords, so you had to get one of those 2, pretty much.
So did we know what was in the Eastern big chest, since I died stupidly before I got the big key?
We didn't get to see it, no.
Yeah, we never saw it. The only other runner to go into Eastern was Tale, and left as soon as they got a sword. Speaking of, we are joined by is it Tale?
Tala.
GG's.
Yeah.
GG.
What's your initial thoughts about this scene? Pretty light sword, unfortunately.
Yeah, I will never find this one. It had throttled for so long.
Yeah, you were the last in the restream to get a sword. They were just like not in very nice spots.
Yeah, it was a jet suit, but
Yeah, I mean, outside of like your first sword, everything else was like super on the way, and the few things that weren't on the way, you had hint tiles for. And it was just all a matter of just making your way to that first sword, and then the entire seed just kind of lines up really nicely.
there was a hint for the sword in Eastern.
No, not for the swords, but for like the Cane of Samaria,
Yeah.
and then the boots in Mireshed. Wallkicks ended up having the best route through the seed. What he did was he started at Hype Cave, and upon getting the mitts, said, "Let's sequence break the mountain." And then he had the mirror and the mitts on his first trip to Village of Outcasts, and was able to turn in the smith before going into Thieves Town, which had his first sword.
I think my only issue with that routing is that I wasn't able to clear out Hera my first go around because it was fire locked, but you know, it didn't hurt in the end. You're forced to take up 2 trips there no matter what.
Yeah, ended up not being impactful.
No.
Yeah, that cane hint specifically was also something that sadly pulled me away from limits a little bit further, since I was about to do the hype cave after the mountain, but then I got the hint, and then decided to route in the Zora area first, since I got the flippers, which I did over with Graveyard Ledge before I got that hint.
I guess your other option where you could have like started a Hype Cave and then gone up to Pyramid and then Catfish that way, but then Graveyard Ledge gets super orphaned.
And
Yeah.
of course,
And
of course,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
of course, that bow had to be in Swamp and not in Ice, where I had 50-50 decision. Do I do Swamp first or Ice first? And then I went for Ice in the intention to go mode it, just to get the 2 first hints, but then I got the key in the first chest and thought, quick Ice full clear. It just didn't line up for me.
Yeah, we saw a lot of full clearing ice in this seed. It's
Yeah.
hard, right? You know, like when you're looking at both either ice or swamp. Like ice looks better most of the time, just because of those hints maybe telling you not to do left side swamp.
Some interesting Starforce rooms.
Oh yeah, what happened to you there?
I don't know. Ice without a sword is such a mess. I don't know. I've had the throw on the second Starforce, and then everything goes wrong.
I'm sure it only happens when you're on Restream.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, GG's to everyone, and thanks to Speed Gaming for doing this. Coy Walter, thanks for commentating this. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and special shout outs actually didn't do this during the race, but to our trackers, Mr. Scruffnia, Tuna, and Oro. So massive GG's to them too.
Can you not say ninja?
Ninja?
Did you?
Is that not how you say it?
No.
Ninja.
Quite, can you say a random Swedish word, please?
Oh no, I learned a bunch of Swedish words, but now that you ask me, I can't remember any of them.
I mean, I know one, but I don't feel comfortable
Skull.
saying it.
That's Swedish, isn't it?
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
Oro got that right, I think.
Morgasborg. Mr. Scruff, Ninja Tuna, and SSBM Oro, of course, our trackers. Thank you guys so much for clicking the buttons for us. And to our Restream runners, Tala, Rollin Tank here, Marty, and Wallkicks. Really appreciate that. And thank you, Walter, for hanging out with me today.
Yeah, thank you, dude. It was fun. We should do it again sometime.
Also, Wallkicks, don't watch the VOD. Because Walter was pretty harsh the entire time. I tried sticking up for you, but he was
relentless.
relentless.
I kind of figured as much. Don't worry. I mean, there will be repercussions for that.
But I think we're about ready to wrap it up. What do you say, Walter?
Yeah, sounds about right. So GG's to everyone again. There's another daily at 3 p.m. Eastern time, right? No, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're looking for more rando, check that one out. I think it's a 40 out of 50 Triforce hunt. So if you like that, I guess be ready for more rando. But until then, have a good night or day, everyone.
Bye, everybody.